Is the Gracie diet a total scam, or is it the secret to optimal health? Let's dive into the science and find out. First of all, let's define the Gracie diet. Developed by the Gracie family, who as we know are the pioneers of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the Gracie diet is a dietary plan that emphasizes whole, unprocessed foods and limits refined sugars and grains. It also includes specific guidelines for meal timing and food combinations to optimize digestion and improve overall health. The Gracie diet is divided up into the belt system, which resembles Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which represents the different levels of adherence to the diet. White belt, you can drink water first thing in the morning. Wash your hands before every meal. Write down what you eat, drink, and at what time for 1 week. Blue belt, carry on white belt habits. Gradually eliminate desserts, sweets, or fruits after cooked meals. Permitted drinks are water, carbonated water, coconut water, veggie juices, iced tea, and no lemon or sugar. Purple belt level, carry on all blue belt habits. Follow Gracie diet table of combinations. Eliminate pork of any kind. Brown belt, carry on purple belt habits. Space your meals out at least 4.5 hours apart, no snacks. Eat right for 6 days a week with 1 free day. And finally, black belt level, carry on all brown belt habits. Eat right every day, share the knowledge, and help others. The Gracie diet has a heavy emphasis on the balance of acidic-forming and alkaline-forming foods, which leads to the diet having these combination restrictions, where certain combinations of food are considered unhealthy, and this is introduced at the purple belt level. According to the Gracie diet, acidic-forming foods such as meats, dairy products, and grains should be balanced with alkaline-forming foods such as vegetables and certain fruits. The Gracie diet has certainly helped some people improve their health and performance. It's important to note though that it may not be the right choice for everyone. Now I'm gonna list a few reasons why the Gracie diet may not be very effective. It can be very restrictive. Even at higher belt levels, the Gracie diet can be quite restrictive as it limits a wide range of foods, including grains, dairy, and legumes, which are all important sources of nutrients. This can make it difficult for some people to follow the diet long term, and it may actually lead to some nutrient deficiencies. It may not be based on the latest scientific research. While the Gracie diet has been around for a while, it's important to note that the field of nutrition is constantly evolving, and what was considered healthy maybe a decade ago may not necessarily be the case today. And this could potentially make it less effective or even harmful. It may not be sustainable for everyone. The Gracie diet requires a lot of time and effort to follow. These specific food combinations are at the centerpiece of the Gracie diet belief system. This may not be practical or sustainable for everyone, especially those with busy schedules or limited access to certain types of food. One major limitation of the Gracie diet is its restriction on carbohydrates, particularly grains and refined sugars. Carbohydrates are a very important source of energy for athletes, specifically Jiu-Jitsu athletes, and are essential for sports performance. They provide the body with the fuel that it needs to perform its best, and their importance is especially pronounced during high-intensity activities like BJJ. However, the nature of the Gracie diet limits the intake of carbohydrates, which can be problematic for athletes. While it's true that refined sugars and processed grains should be limited in a diet, whole food grain sources, other sources of complex carbohydrates are important for optimal sports performance. The science behind the Gracie diet. Okay, in this section, I'm going to talk about all the science that has been done on the Gracie diet. There isn't any. I searched multiple different directories, scientific publications, and the works for the keyword Gracie diet and several other different variations of that search term, but I came up short. Under full transparency, I do have to tell you, however, that there is one research study investigating the effect that the Gracie diet has on the treatment of GERD, and it is scheduled for completion in December of 2024. GERD, or gastroesophageal reflux disease, is a common condition characterized by heartburn and regurgitation. The researchers of this pilot study that I mentioned believe that the Gracie diet may help to prevent GERD by promoting proper digestion and healthy chemical reactions in the digestive process. This particular pilot study aims to test the hypothesis that the Gracie diet could be an alternative option to improving GERD symptoms in patients who do not respond to standard doses of the current medication interventions. Is the Gracie diet a scam? While the Gracie diet has some positive attributes, and I'd be very biased if I didn't touch on those positive attributes, and it may even work for some people, it's important to keep in mind that every person is different. What works for one person may not work for another. And I'd say the reason that the Gracie diet is effective is probably that it's an upgrade to the previous eating habits of those individuals. But that doesn't mean that it's optimal, and it doesn't mean that the weird food combination theory is correct. Now, as for my personal take on the Gracie diet, the biggest issue that I have with it is its absolute statements. The restriction in combining certain types of food on this alkaline versus acidic pseudoscience combinations of food, it just doesn't really hold up when you explore the science behind the Gracie diet. Now, the reason that some people find success with it is because you can treat it as sort of like a pseudo-elimination diet. And for some people, elimination diets can be very effective. It's always a good idea to consult with a healthcare professional, registered dietitian, or sports nutrition specialist before starting any new dietary plan. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've tried the Gracie diet or if you have any other questions about sports nutrition and healthy eating. I'll see you in the next one.